Some watches are just watches, others become icons. The Universal Genève Compax or the Nina Rindt. Yes, it's the latter. A watch that transcends time, fame, and fashion. Part legend, part wrist candy. It earned its crown as the queen of vintage chronographs, with one photo, one woman, and one perfectly balanced dial. And the story starts, as with all great stories, with a race car driver's wife.
Rindt once noted, "Maybe I'll not live to reach the age of 40, but until that time, I'll have experienced more things in life than anybody else." These words would prove hauntingly prophetic. Sadly, Rindt did not reach the age of 40, as disaster struck 2 races after his German triumph.
Nina Rindt, model, socialite, and the wife of Jochen Rindt, the only posthumous Formula One world champion in history. She wasn't just a pretty face in the paddock, she was a style icon, with the perfect wrist game before Instagram made it cool. One photograph of her casually wearing the Universal Genève Compax changed the perception of vintage chronographs forever. It's that photo, the one with the sharp suits, the race cars in the background, and Nina's wrists casually flexing that collectors drool over. That's when a watch stops being a tool and starts becoming a legend. Universal Genève, a Swiss brand that most people now associate with vintage cool rather than mass market watches, created the Compax in the 1960s. The Nina Rindt edition, or rather, the reference that she had made famous, boasted a panda dial, black subdials on a white background, perfectly legible, perfectly balanced, perfectly irresistible. It wasn't just pretty.
Inside tick a Valjoux 72 movement.
A hand-wound chronograph engine that still thrills collectors today. Reliable, precise, and ready to measure 30-minute intervals with surgical accuracy, much like the split-second decisions on the F1 track. Let's talk design. Panda dials aren't just a fad. They're the wrist equivalent to a perfectly tailored tuxedo. Black subdials pop against creamy white, and the symmetry. Oh, the symmetry. Every proportion, every font, every marker screams class. And that's the beauty of vintage design. It's elegant, functional, and timeless. Compared to the Rolex Daytona of the same era, the Compax holds its own. The Daytona may have the marketing muscle, but the Nina Rindt Compax has the soul. It's understated, classy, and doesn't need a hype machine to make collectors lose their minds. Here is where it gets interesting. One photograph, just one. Nina casually wearing this watch at the Monaco Grand Prix. That image became more valuable than some watches themselves. It cemented the Compax in horological history as the ultimate symbol of chic, vintage, chronograph cool. Collectors today don't just buy the watch, they buy the story, the aura, the connection to the glamour of 1960s motorsports. It's not about just minutes and seconds, it's about racing pedigree. The vintage watch community worships this piece. Auctions, forums, Instagram mention Nina Rindt Compax, and the watch nerds come out like moths to a flame. Its charm is not just an aesthetics or movement. It's the perfect storm of provenance, design, and that photo. It's rare, it's beautiful, and it's a little bit dangerous to your bank account. Unlike modern chronographs, it has personality. It's a watch that doesn't just measure time, it tells stories about speed, style, and the fleeting moments when glamour meets adrenaline.
The Valjoux 72 movement inside is like the engine inside of a race car hood.
Simple, robust, and beautiful in its function. 30-minute counter, small seconds, and a chronograph central hand. Classic complications done right. Compared to a 6239 Daytona,
It's slightly less popular.
but more charming, like a vintage Alfa Romeo versus a Ferrari. One is raw, alive, and character-filled. The other is marketing perfection. So why is it the queen of vintage chronographs? One glance and the dial tells you. Elegance, history, and relevance all rolled into one. Add the Nina Rindt connection and you've got a wrist icon. It's rare, it's collectible, and it has provenance baked in, unlike most modern chronographs trying to be cool. And here's the punchline. You don't just wear it for the time, you wear it for the story, for the history, for the legend that's casually ticking on your wrists. The Nina Rindt Universal Genève Compax. Timeless, elegant, and legendary. A watch that proves sometimes a single photo, a single woman, and a perfectly designed dial can make history. It's not just a chronograph, it's a crown worn on your wrists. Tick tock.